Wide Open Outdoor Adventures in Tilden, Texas on the Diamond J Ranch. We showed you how to set up a pop-up blind. We showed you how we set up a camera guy to make these kinds of hunts. But at the end of the day, knowledge is power in the outdoors.
Today on Wide Open Outdoor Adventures, we're going to hunt Tilden, Texas, McMullen County for whitetail deer. Don't change that dial. Wide Open Outdoor Adventures is coming up next. Tilden, Texas is an amazing small town in South Texas. It's a 2-streetlight town with lots of ranches all around it. Many of the people here were born here and they've never left. It's 30 miles south of Johnston, Texas, and the whitetail deer hunting here is outstanding.
We live in the best country in the world, the United States of America. And here in Tilden, they proudly fly both the American flag and the Texas flag. God bless America. All right, guys, as you can see, I got my main cameraman, Fred Kirby, in the back seat. We are here in Tilden. We filmed the little town, and now we're heading to the Diamond J to meet up with Greg Johnston.
For a little wide open adventure.
Wide open, baby!
You!
On today's show, we hunt the Diamond J Ranch in Tilden, Texas.
Thanks for joining us today on this episode of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. I'm Dave Valtierra. Today I'm in Tilden, Texas, McMullen County, and I'm on the Diamond J Ranch. Whitetail hunting coming your way. Don't change that dial.
The area we call South Texas is south of San Antonio, and it extends to the Rio Grande Valley. It's a 20 million acre region. It has some of the best whitetail deer populations in Texas. The soils and vegetative complex for this area are extremely valuable. When managed properly, they can sustain excellent deer populations. Deer require a diet of an estimated 16% protein plus various minerals to sustain their energy and be well nourished. They are selective foragers. They prefer leafy twigs and fruit of a woody, brushy species and rarely eat grass. Studies have shown that predation, primarily by coyotes, account for a high percentage of fawn mortality. Loss of fawn populations from predation can be reduced by properly managing the ranges and not overgrazing your property. Sufficient food and cover can help your deer populations. The thicker scrub brush of South Texas provides cover and safety. Today we're going to talk about managing your breeding pool. We're going to talk about culling the animals that you don't want breeding into your deer population on the ranch. This show is about selective hunting to make your deer populations bigger and stronger.
Well, we're going to check out this little Primos blind. We set it up about 3 to 4 weeks ago. It's a pop-up blind. It's sort of a temporary blind. If you leave them out in the woods like this, they do kind of wear out. But this one's in great shape right now. We got some lumber around it. We want to make sure it's ready for this afternoon hunt. So we're going to check it out. It's always important to kind of keep your hands, watch where your hands go. Make sure no snakes have made this a home. And we look okay. This is my shooting window. I'm going to unzip it. I'm going to pull down the shoot-through mesh. Now I do this because you can see through this shoot-through mesh from the inside, but the animals can't see you. but it does put a little opaque kind of look to everything. So if a deer's way out in the brush, you may not even see him. So this is my little opening, put my Swarovski binoculars through there, or maybe just kind of peer through. That's how I set it up. Hopefully this afternoon's hunt's gonna come together good. Stay right where you're at.
WideOpenSportsman.com.
Ruts on, wide open style, we love to hunt the big bucks. Check it out. Subscribe today.
Roger that.
On today's pro tip of the day, we're going to show you how we put together a hunt. We set up an A-frame for our camera guy and a pop-up blind for me. Okay, we got the tripod. We're going to set up Fred for the video, the camera angle, and then I'm going to be in this little pop-up blind. So we'll show you how we set up and make TV shows on wide open outdoor adventures.
Okay, let's give us a vantage point to set up.
Let me get out.
All right, now we got to get your ladder for him in the back. We don't want to tear our brush up. So let's just ease it up, and then we'll walk it into place. Good angle, Dave. I believe you got it positioned just right. That'll make your cameraman part of the tree.
All right, Fred, he's going to be up in this tree stand filming for Wide Open Outdoors, so let's let him kind of be the first in action. We got him up in the tree. Let's pull back here and see what we got. Got some limbs to deal with. You've got to do everything possible to break up these lines. I've got me a stick here with lots of points on it. I'm going to use a little tie-off device here. They put little strips of material and you can tie these limbs off. I like to tie one and then I'll get another one and tie it more in an outward direction. We're just trying to break up these lines right here. Fred's getting set up right here for the hunt. Okay, now I'm going to tie this one kind of in an outward direction, giving the blind some relief. You can probably tie 3 sticks to each one of these if you're careful. And that way I have material sticking out and up. Another thing that's really important in setting up these pop-up blinds is to use native materials. So your sticks, your twigs, your timber, make sure you use material from the area that you're working, not from back home.
Dave and I just setting up for a little wide open outdoor adventure. So you guys stay tight.
This is the end result of Fred's A-frame, his tripod. He'll be hunting and videoing from right there. And I'll be across the way in this new setup pop-up blind. All right, we've got a whitetail deer hunt on this segment of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. We set up this pop-up blind, this Primos pop-up blind, about a month and a half ago. It's just gelled and settled in. It's all like at home now. And we're gonna get inside there. It's like a hotel room. I'm gonna hunt in there. And Fred, my main wide open cameraman, is gonna be in this tripod behind there. And he's gonna be set up and filming this afternoon's whitetail deer hunt. Stay with us. All right, as you can tell, I'm all blacked out. I got my gloves, I got my face cover, got a black hat, black shirt. I'm blending in the back of the blind. Let's hunt.
Dave, I'm rolling, and we've got some deer coming in.
Roger that. I see him. Fred, do you see that spike?
Roger.
Greg asked it to take out some deer if he doesn't look like good for breeding in the population here. I think we might take that spike. Okay, Fred, I got a clean shot.
Rolling. Take it.
Oh, yeah. A good clean shot. And he's down. All right. All right, we'll give him about 20 minutes, let him expire, and we'll go take a look at him. This afternoon hunt came together on a whitetail spike. It's all about managing the herd.
WideOpenSportsman.com.
Duck hunting, deer hunting, dove hunting, inland lakes, South Texas, Texas shorelines, coyotes, big duck, big bucks, foxes, heel-winged duck, bobcats. Just get you some. Come to the call. Get you some. Wide open. Subscribe today.
Roger that.
All right, we shot this deer. He was heading just in this direction. So I already found blood. Let's follow the blood trail and find the deer. Here's the first amount of blood I could see. I'm gonna have more. Open my light a little bit to show you guys. Here's more blood. And here's our downed animal right here. Okay, whenever you approach a downed animal, I prefer to have a weapon drawn, a rifle or a pistol, in this case a .45 automatic. And I'm gonna come up to the animal. I'm gonna be prepared to take another shot, and I'm gonna just kind of tap him and make sure he's expired. And then I'm gonna come up with a stick, and I'm going to touch his eyeball. And he's expired. If he was alive, his eyeball would twitch. So therefore, may need to put another shot in him. As you can see, this is a little cull buck. It's a spike. We knocked him out of the herd today. We don't want these deer breeding in with the population here on the ranch because they'll just make more inferior deer. So he'll make great table fare for the ranch. They had asked for us to bring back some meat, and we're going to do it today. So don't go anywhere. More hunting coming your way on Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. Stay with us. Every time I show up on a ranch to do a rifle hunt, I set up a target and pop at least a couple shots just to make sure that my scope is dialed in. Another thing to remember, that this is not my ranch, so police your brass. Pick up all your spent shells. Cattle will eat them and leave it better than you found it. Well, as you saw, this Leopold scope is dialed in. We're ready to hunt. But let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of a rifle scope. This cap on the right side of the scope is windage. That's left and right. This cap on the top is elevation. That's up and down. Let's take these caps off and see what it says on the inside. This one shows that if you want the bullet hole to move to the right, you got to turn counterclockwise. However, if you're going 4 clicks in one direction, then you typically want to go 7 clicks and then back up and always finish in a clockwise direction. Now let's take off the elevation cap and read the instructions inside. You're going to find out here that if you want the bullet hole to move up, you're going to turn in a counterclockwise direction. A high quality scope like this Leopold has a focus ring here in the back. Also, this is a 4.5 by 14 zoom scope. That's a lot of zoom. Some people keep it at 14. They want to count points on horns. I keep it at about 6 or 8. That way, if I'm in a situation where I've got to get my gun up quick, you can always dial it in a little tighter if you want to. The scope that I have today is a Leopold Gold Band. It's a 50 millimeter opening. That lets a lot of light in early in the morning and late in the evening. This scope is fairly high end. It's about a $950 scope. This rifle is about a $400 rifle, but that's the way you do it. Buy a very good scope and put it on a good solid gun.
We've got about 3 or 4 doe coming down that Sendera. Right. Go. About 200 yards.
I got him. All right, we've got some action. Okay, we've got some doe coming in way down the road, just like we've patterned. Let's see what happens. Fred, do you see? A buck just came in from the right. He's with the group.
Roger that, Dave. I'm on him.
This may be just what we've been looking for. This is a good management buck. He's kind of a high basket rack. He doesn't have a lot of symmetry. He's probably 3.5 years, just aging him on the hoof. This is pre-rut. They didn't want some of these deer breeding in with the populations of females on the Diamond J. This may be just what we've been looking for.
Fred, let's shoot this deer.
Let's wait and get him good broadside.
Roger that.
I'm on him. You just take him when you want him.
There's my shot. Yes!
WideOpenSportsman.com.
Subscribe today.
Roger that.
There's our downed animal right there. Well, on this hunt, it was another hunt for management. We were basically trying to make sure that these inferior bucks don't breed early in the season in with the gene population here on the ranch. The females are emitting estrus, they're in heat, basically it's the rut. So we don't want this deer repopulating and producing more inferior animals. Let's go look at our harvest. And he's expired. You want to make an ethical shot, make sure he doesn't suffer. This whitetail buck would be an awesome deer for some young boy or girl to come out and get their first hunt. It'd also be good for culling out of the ranch. He's got very, very narrow beam here. He's got tines that come up on this side fairly uniform. This one's just a split. I age him out at 3.5 years. He's just a great management buck to hunt. Well, I hope you learned a few things on today's show, Wide Open Outdoor Adventures in Tilden, Texas on the Diamond J Ranch. We showed you how to set up a pop-up blind. We showed you how we set up a camera guy to make these kinds of hunts. But at the end of the day, knowledge is power in the outdoors. So I'll see you in a wide open outdoor adventure.
There's only one way to assure that you have big deer on your ranch, and that's to manage the population of animals. Some people don't know this, and they think that some ranches just have really big deer. It's all in the genetics. On today's show, we harvested a spike that did not need to be breeding into the population, and we harvested an 8-point cull buck who also had inferior genes. Wildlife biologists get involved on these ranches to help the landowner identify how many does have overpopulated. 100 females can produce 50 fawns in an average season. Here's a prime example of a deer that's amazingly healthy, beautiful, strong whitetail buck. But he's young. You can tell his body's not massive, his horns are not as thick, his back's not drooping down, his face is not that wide. He's not a shooter. Compare him to this deer. This deer has a very thick body. He has much heavier horns, and he has what's called a Roman nose. He's much more mature. Knowing how to age deer on the hoof takes time. We recommend getting a video camera and video the deer on your ranch. Then sit with someone who's experienced at aging deer. They can help you learn what's a shooter and what deer are just too young. Thanks for your time today, and I'll see you in a wide open outdoor adventure.